Hello and welcome to our second assembly online, all about generosity. Now, I'm really excited because next week I won't be delivering this assembly to you at home. You will all be back in school from the 8th of March, and we cannot wait to see you. Now, set you a little challenge last week, which was all about being generous with your time. And I asked you to show generosity through giving up time to your parent, your sibling, perhaps an elderly relative. So tell the person in the room, what did you do to achieve that challenge last week? Well done. I can't wait to hear about all of your examples when you return to school. Now, I also had a little Google online to see some famous acts of generosity, and there were lots of examples to choose from, but I've picked out a few for you to have a look at. Hopefully, you'll recognise this man on screen. It's the famous footballer Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's reported online that he recently donated 7 million euros to victims of the deadliest earthquake in Nepal. What a top guy! We've got Beyonce here and her husband Jay-Z, and it's reported that Beyonce's fund, Bay Good, donated over $6 million to the COVID-19 relief fund, and that money went towards wellness services, food banks, and supporting those most in need during the pandemic. What a lovely lady. You may or may not recognise this man. It's Sir Richard Branson, who is the owner of the Virgin Empire. And Sir Richard Branson has apparently, during his years, donated half of his fortune to charity. That's over $2 billion. Wow. Finally, we've got Ed Sheeran on the screen, and he's reported to recently have donated over £1 million to local charities in Suffolk amid the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Thank you, Ed. Now, these are celebrities can afford to be generous on a big scale with the millions of pounds that they have, but not everybody can. Now, religion teaches us that we should be generous within our means. So basically, give what we can afford. And also, religion teaches us that we should be generous with our time. We're going to have a look at some different religions now and what they say about giving. The first religion that we're going to have a look at is the religion of Islam. Now you can see on screen we've got the 5 pillars of Islam, and the third of those pillars is zakat. And zakat is the compulsory giving of a set amount of your wealth to charity. Muslims regard this as a type of worship. It should make you feel good to give. Now, this does not refer to the giving of gifts through kindness or generosity, but to the regular giving of 2.5% of your wealth each year. So, in money terms, that's about £2.50 out of every £100 that you earn, you should be looking to donate. Now, the religion of Buddhism teaches that you should do something called dana. This concept includes giving and sharing without wanting anything in return. Basically, you give, but you don't expect to receive. And there's something called sweat dana, apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, where the giver can donate time and effort, such as working in a soup kitchen or on a community project. And this is similar to the challenge that I set you last week. I asked you to give up your time to support somebody else. The religion of Christianity. Now, the Bible teaches that everything that people own comes from God, and the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. That's taken from Psalms. Now, for Christians, this means that they need to be grateful for everything they have, and they should also be ready to be part with their possessions if it is God's will. Now, some Christians like to give routinely. That means they set money aside each month for charity. And typically, most Christians give about 10% of their monthly income to charity. So if we think about the £100 again, that's about £10 out of every £100 that they earn. However, Jesus taught that all giving should be done with a joyful heart. So you shouldn't give begrudgingly. You should want to give and donate. And also, if you can't afford to do that, don't. Now, the religion of Judaism. Jews have an obligation to perform charitable works known as tzedakah. Hopefully, I've pronounced that correctly. Now, traditionally, Jewish people give about 10% of their income to charity, and traditional Jewish homes often have a money box. And in that money box, they will collect money throughout the month or throughout the year and then donate it to worthy causes. Now, we've had a look at what religion says about giving, but the science behind giving is also positive too, because apparently, when you give, whether that's giving your time, giving money, giving a gift, the pleasure receptors in your brain light up. And this leads to endorphins being released, which gives you a rush of happiness. And I asked you last week how you felt when you give something, and most of you said it made you feel warm and fuzzy. Well, this is the science behind it. And the hormone oxytocin is released, which lowers stress levels and makes us feel connected and happy. How lovely is that? Now, our final thought for today comes from somebody called Bill Gates. Again, you might recognize this man. He's a very wealthy businessman who was one of the co-founders of Microsoft. And he says, I enjoyed making lots of money, but it was much more fun giving it away. Now, let's take from this that we need to be generous with what we have. And there's no shame in taking when we're in need, but we should also look to give when we have more than others. For now, have an absolutely fantastic week at home, and we cannot wait to have you all back in school next Monday in your classes with your teachers learning in school. Take care. Bye bye.